Hello again. Today we're going to be talking about one of my favorite topics, which is tools used in starting fires. The Boy Scouts have started lots of fires using a variety of tools, including flint and steel, steel wool and a 9-volt battery, matches with cardboard and wooden, lighters, magnifying glass, you name it. But one of the tools I've never gotten a chance to use is the fire piston. Fire piston directly applies that ideal gas law that you learned in school, particularly the PV over T is a constant form of the equation. So we rapidly decrease the volume inside a tube, which causes the pressure and the temperature to go up to the point that we could ignite a small amount of fire-starting material that's stored in the tube. Now I've got this fire piston kit that I bought on Amazon, and it comes in this little metal tin with a nice note on it that tells you, yo, the tin might be bent, don't worry about it, it's going to get all bent when you use this for its intended purpose anyway. The tin is part of the set, part of the tool. Inside the tin is some of this canvas cloth, some spare O-rings, the fire piston itself, a string for holding onto the fire piston. You can loop this through a keychain. There's a little hole in the base of it. Some of this like burlap sack material as a tinder, kind of like twine. Some petroleum jelly, I'm guessing as a lubricant. You can use Vaseline or chapstick or anything similar, some kind of grease to lubricate the piston. And then the most important thing, a small sample of char cloth. Now, this cloth is from basically the same material as this canvas piece here, except it's been preheated to the point where it's easy to tear, very, very easy to tear, and it's also very flammable. This is the material that you'll want to use inside the fire piston to get an ember that you can then apply to some kind of tinder. I like using dryer lint. I think that takes embers quite a bit better than burlap sack material, tinder, or twine that you unfurl and then make into a little bird's nest. So now the actual fire piston itself, it'll store in one piece like this. There's the rod, which will pull a mild vacuum if you try to just pull it out like this. And then at the end, this piece with a hole in it, you can put it on a keychain, will unscrew as well, and that seals with an O-ring. And then you could take out the rod without pulling a vacuum, so that'll be much easier. The top of the rod also unscrews. So that's, I suppose you could unscrew that and replace the rod if you wanted to, or replace the end cap with something that might be more comfortable or larger. So if you wanted to custom machine a handle version of this, something you could like grip, like a brass knuckle, I suppose, that might allow you to use the piston easier. So you could certainly machine something like that and just screw it right in. So how to use the fire piston? You're going to need to take some of that grease and grease the O-rings to get a good seal. Then you take a piece of char cloth, kind of roll it up in your fingers. It'll kind of crumble and break. And you want to get it in there such that there's still like space for air around it. If you pack it in too tight, it won't light. If you don't have enough, it might not stay lit for very long. And we'll just make an ember here on the desk. That's all I'm going to be able to do here. And so I'm going to sit this on the table so that the char cloth can't fall out. You move this spot. Also, this is easier to grip. They got the nice knurling for you to do that. And you line this up on the O-rings. And you want to get the maximum stroke you possibly can. So you line this up right here like this. And then you just press down. And slowly remove it. You can see got a little bit of smoke, but it didn't actually ignite, so we'll go again. And this is one of the problems with after the first ignition, there's not oxygen-rich air in there, so I've had trouble igniting it if I don't blow on the tube. And again, I want air to be able to get in around there. And there's our ember. Took a little bit of effort. Now this char cloth lights at a lower temperature than many other materials. So this ember that you've got, pretty difficult to get it into an actual fire. You have to be patient with it. Don't blow it out. Most of the stuff that will take this, like the lint or the the twine material, you may have difficulty actually getting that into a fire. You need to get enough of it burning like an ember to the point where there's enough heat to cause it to burst into actual flames. But once you do that, you're good to go. And I had to do just that for the next part of this, where we make more char cloth. Second tool I want to talk about is these fire bellows. These are little, either aluminum, stainless steel, probably aluminum, feel kind of light, telescoping rods. You blow through them like a straw. These nice and portable, help you get into an enclosed area where having a fire. So if you have a cooking fire where you dug a hole, or if you have an enclosed fire pit like I do in my backyard, these make it a lot easier to get your face in there and blow on the fire when it needs it. If you have a wide open fire you're doing, I don't think this will be much use. You can get your face in there and probably blow better, but still pretty neat. So taking a picture here of my setup right before I went to light the fire, you can see that I have the twine that I'm using as tinder, and in the center I have a larger piece of char cloth that's going to take the ember from the fire piston directly. Next, here's a picture of the teepee style fire with some staged dry grass for helping get it started. I managed 2 pictures while I was starting it. It's a little bit fast paced, so it was difficult, and I don't think I would have been able to video while I was doing this, but there's the fire getting started. Now here's a short clip of me using that bellows. Helps me get in there pretty easily, even though it's an enclosed fire pit. So since the kit gave us this nice big tin that's quite a lot larger than an Altoids tin, we can take that whole cloth and we're just going to stick it in there, close it up, and toss it in the fire. And now we wait, and what should come out is that label telling us not to be concerned about the bent up box, and now the charred up and burned off label on the box. We will get more of the very important char fabric. So after about a minute here, we get a char box first before we're gonna get char fabric. So now after we let it sit in the fire in the hot coals for a while, we'll go ahead and open the box after pulling it out and letting it cool off. You can see the result is more char cloth. Look at that. As well as it seems like the box either had some kind of coating or it formed some kind of coating, and that coating is chipping off like paint inside and outside of the box. So anyhow, go ahead and put that away in the box for later use. If you like this video, please subscribe for more content. And otherwise, have a nice day and do science.